We are going to go to another great association, the Wyoming Trucking Association. Kevin Hawley is the president and CEO, became president last summer, but came from a different type of background. But in a sense, he's kind of doing the same thing, only different. He was in Casper, Wyoming, he was the executive director of the Casper Downtown Development Authority. He worked to revitalize downtown Casper with the David Street Station. And if you hear the term David Street Station, even though today is the anniversary of Lionel Cowan, who founded Lionel Electric Trains, David Street Station is not a train station and it's not a bus station. It's something completely different. And we'll ask Kevin what that is in just a minute, and then we'll talk about some of the issues he's working with the Wyoming Trucking Association. Welcome to the show, Kevin. Thank you so much for being with us, and good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. So, yeah, kind of an odd story how a guy with a construction and development background gets into the trucking industry, but it's been a year, and I'm sort of not drinking from the fire hose anymore, but it's been a challenge, but it's been great.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, all of the things that you used to build stuff came on those trucks too. So you've been part and parcel of trucking probably more than, well, I'm sure you know that. Of course, I'm not, telling you anything you don't know. But, when I read about you and the David Street Station, I actually envisioned an old school, maybe old time train station that was going to be maybe a museum. But this is something else, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of goofy. So my job back then was much like I'm doing now. I represented some constituents and members within the downtown district. And our job was to make downtown better than, today and tomorrow than it was yesterday and the days before. So that's what I did. I talked to the property owners, the merchants, and we say, how do we revitalize this downtown? And through that, we looked around the country and we saw some examples of these event-driven public plazas. At the time, when I got hired, I said, I'm not a president or a CEO. I'm just a regular guy. I've got a construction background. I know how to do that. Well, they happened to want to build things. I knew how to build things. So they said, let's go. And we ended up building a spectacular events-driven public plaza right in the heart of our downtown that kind of bridged the central business district and the up-and-coming kind of commercial district. And it worked really well. So through that, I did that for a decade. And oddly enough, someone that I worked with that always donated their services was a trucking company in Casper, and they'd bring their heavy-duty cranes and help us put, the 40-foot community Christmas tree up. And I think that gentleman knew I was getting tired, a little beat up, burned out. And he said, hey, would you ever consider doing this? We've got a retirement coming up with my predecessor, Sheila, had been there 48 years. I said, I don't know anything about the trucking industry. He said, we know the trucking industry. We need someone like you to help re-energize and take the lead and get us back. And I said, what the heck, let's try it. So here I am, totally engrossed in trucking now.
Fantastic. Well, we're glad to have you. Let's talk about some of the things that we should be talking about here, Kevin. And we'll start off with the Rocky Mountain Regional Safety Rendezvous that was held in Cody. Obviously, Wyoming, then Montana, Idaho, Utah, Colorado. Erica Denny with Colorado DOT is with us quite a bit here on the program, talking about the mountain rules and everything there in Colorado specifically. But what are some of the things that you guys talk about at the RMRSR? The Rocky Mountain Regional
Safety.
Yeah, it's
a mouthful, right?
Yeah, all right.
RMSR. We definitely have some unique challenges in the Mountain West. So specifically in Wyoming, I don't know if you've been out here, but 80-mile-an-hour winds in Florida is a hurricane. That's just a Tuesday out here in Wyoming.
Oh, man,
so,
yeah. And, they finally one of the things that I have been doing radio for over 50 years, trucking radio. So when it comes to Colorado, Interstate 80 is closed due to high winds if you are a light, high-profile vehicle. But they never told you how light. And finally,
so
they wound up
now.
doing that. Yeah, finally. So there's that. Yeah, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so we talked about, the blowover issues in Wyoming, and WYDOT was there to present, the tech that they're using and the data that's being collected and how the different slopes and degrees of the road and this profile of truck compared to this profile of truck. So it was really interesting. We've got some potential issues on I-80, well, all over, but I-80 with some of those storms and closures with some towing issues and predatory towing. So we talked about the process. Our guys in Wyoming know the process, but any out-of-state carriers that are coming through and may have an issue and want to dispute some challenges with towing. We certainly talked about English language proficiency. We did a lot of, we partnered with our community colleges here that are fantastic in the state of Wyoming. We went up to Northwest College and we did some AI and some tech training. And last but not least is something that we talk about ad nauseum is, insurance and risk mitigation. So these are safety professionals and taking care of their fleets and their people and keeping them running. So insurance is something we talk about nonstop.
Since they put the parameters in terms of, under 40,000, under 50,000 pounds on the blowover thing, have we got any usable data yet in terms of how effective that has been?
Yes. And I hate to say that I don't know the exact number, but I can tell you it's been dramatically impactful on reducing the blowovers and closures.
Wow.
I can tell you, what was it, last February, I was driving down from Casper to Cheyenne, our capital, for the legislative session, and it was one of those days, and I counted 8 blowovers just in a 20-mile section there north of Cheyenne. So it's challenging, and they ended up closing down the road, but it's certainly something that we face here, those unique challenges, and that ties back into those dynamic message boards that you brought up, 45,000, 55,000 close to high-profile vehicles and defining it. But again, the dynamic signs changing and English language proficiency, we've got some unique challenges out here in the Mountain West with chain laws and doing some certain things. So one of the things I appreciated about that event was not only bringing the trucking industry together, but bringing our counterparts in law enforcement and just having candid conversations and learning. A lot of times we just get stuck in our tunnel vision of this is how I do things and why I do things, but understanding the other side of the story too. So it was great to talk to those folks from all over the Rocky Mountains and get their perspective as well.
We'd love to have you back. I just got the 30-second mark signal, Kevin, but we just talked to Jana Jarvis, our friend over at Oregon, about the restructuring of the diesel tax there with the weight mile simplification and diesel tax modernization. You guys have some taxing issues as well in terms of declining fuel receipts. Let's get you back to kind of walk through some of that. And also, I hate to even say this, tolling on I-80, it was defeated, but that was with a no vote, so it may be out but not dead yet. So hope that we can get you back on.
Would love the opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Guys, go to wytruck.org. That's the Wyoming Trucking Association. Kevin Hawley is the president and CEO of that organization, WTA. By the way, they stand in the way of a lot of WTFs as well.